Yeah, now the post office has been painted in the many of the minds of the public by a propaganda campaign that they are the poster boy of government inefficiency. This is what's wrong with big government and government running things. Everything should be privatized because, look at it, they mess everything up. It costs way more than private industry, and now they're going belly up. They're insolvent. And now we have a party there of politicians who are talking about, well, maybe we just should dissolve the federal agency of the post office and make it private.
Well, the thing about that, first of all, the Postal Service is not broke. It actually made a $900 million operational profit last quarter. Mm-hmm. Then it has to pay the so-called pre-funding of retirees' health benefits who aren't even born yet, $5.4 billion, and so it's fed into the media, and the media reports it as it's going broke. It does not lose $126 million a day like our own Postal Service manager, Mr. Donahoe, says. In fact, it doesn't lose any money. It's taken from the post office by a congressional mandate. In fact, revenues were up last year for the first time since 2008. Now, the post office is mismanaged. There's no doubt about that, and services can be improved, but you do not supposedly improve snail mail by making it stale mail. You do not dismantle delivery standards that delays mail 3 days. You don't undercut the staffing. So we waste a lot of money. In fact, they cut staffing and increase overtime. Does that make any sense?
No, it doesn't. Yeah, window dressing, right? That doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
That's right.
Now, people would say, well, why is there a deficit? If post office is doing so swell, why are they talking about it going belly up? But there was an act, the Postal Accountability and Enhancement Act of 2006, right, that put a undue burden on the post office that really hasn't been seen before on any agency. Is that correct?
That's correct. The Postal Service is a $67 billion quasi-government agency. It's one of the most efficient government agencies in the United States. It's actually the hub of $1.3 trillion postal industry that employs 8 million workers. So what does Congress do? It undermines it. Supposedly, in order to be able to pre-fund our health care benefits and pension benefits and whatnot. But in fact, the way they calculate it is typical Washingtonian math. It's actually 75 years into the future. You see the terms 2056 in there. You got 10 years historical averages, projections, assumptions, and all that nonsense comes up to Postal Service is going to go belly up. Postal Service makes money. It has a 96% on-time delivery rate. On a typical day, it delivers 528 million pieces of mail. It picks up 727,000 packages a day, and 3.2 million patrons go to the post office every single day, only to find long lines because our management was so smart that they took out the vending machines, took them out, got rid of them so that people have to stand in line for one stamp. That makes no sense.
I can verify, Omar, using those vending machines myself and finding it very convenient, but yeah, they disappeared.
That's right. They disappeared along with the collection boxes in the neighborhoods. That disappeared. Little by little, the Postal Service has deliberately undercut services in order to take the business to private enterprise.
And this Postal Act that they did back in 2006, to explain it to folks so they could wrap their minds around it, basically they looked and made this demand 75 years of pensions and health care had to be funded in 10 years, right?
Correct. That's how we see it. Now, there are those in the government that say, no, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about, you heavy loaded in the first 10 years, but then in 2017, you go back to the other process of doing it. But frankly, you guys are misunderstanding this. It's based on some, postal workers will live up to 75 years. A whole bunch of nonsense. The fact is, no other company or agency has to do what the Postal Service has to do. So it makes a profit, and then it's billed $5.4 billion, which no company could sustain.
Yeah. That's ridiculous to say you have to make up that much money in that little time. No company in private industry would do that to itself. It would bankrupt itself. And furthermore, I heard this, Omar, not only is the government making that steep demand, you collect and pay into this fund 75 years worth of money in a matter of 10 years, But then once the federal government is getting this huge amount of money from the post office for this fund, they're siphoning from it.
Well, yeah, frankly, when it comes right down to it, we've actually overpaid into our pension plans itself. The federal employees retirement system is 101% pre-funded. Now, what happens, we want some of that money back, and of course, the government basically has spent most of it, if not all of it. So they're in no position to pay, and then they claim, well, if we pay you back, then you're going to owe that money in the future anyway, so we might as well keep it. It's a whole bunch of malarkey. It's really intended to privatize the Postal Service, yes, undercut it, destroy it, and get rid of one of the most important institutions of the United States.
Yeah, a lot of